Well, it's a massive India Today impact. India Today's mission Iraq has rattled the highest corridors of power. The Congress today in Parliament is all set to move the privilege motion accusing the government of selling lies to the people. Now, this after External Affairs Minister Sushma Swaraj's claims of the missing Indians being lodged in an Iraqi prison in Mosul was busted by our channel. Meanwhile, the government has claimed that its credibility cannot be questioned as its statement was based on information provided by the Iraqi government. Remember, India Today's mission Iraq travelled to Iraq's now liberated Mosul in search of the missing 39 Indians. There we found that there was no prison at all, which was talked about by the External Affairs Ministry.
39 भारतीय नागरिकों का मुद्दा है, हमें सच बता दिया जाए.
I know the intricacies of Iraq. We here sitting in Delhi, we should not be very judgmental about what is happening in Mosul and Iraq.
No, we definitely demand an answer from the government.
Well, India Today has been the first and the only news channel to travel all the way to the areas in Iraq where 39 Indians are believed to have been held captive. India Today's Achal Vora travelled to the prison where the Indians were supposed to be captive only to find out that that prison had in fact been razed to the ground by the ISIS. Watch this exclusive report.
Plumes of smoke, thuds of explosion. This is what became of Mosul after ISIS overran it in June 2014. 3 years later, this July, Iraqi forces recaptured the ancient city. Hopes flickered more than 3,000 kilometers in the east, across India. Hope that 39 Indians missing from Mosul since 2014 could still be alive.
जब बदूश की लड़ाई समाप्त होगी और वहाँ क्लियरिंग पूरी हो जाएगी, उसके बाद ही हमें पता लग सकेगा कि उनकी आज क्या स्थिति है, वो कहाँ है और किस हालत में है.
Waiting for their loved ones, nothing could have been more reassuring. And that's when India Today sets out in search of our missing immigrants in Mosul. A journey through some of the world's most dangerous zones. The first by any Indian TV crew after Mosul's liberation from the deadly ISIS. Located in northern Iraq, this city has been no stranger to the rise and fall of civilizations. It's reduced to ruins once again. This is where ISIS leader Abu Bakr al-Baghdadi declared a global caliphate in 2014.
That's the Al-Nuri mosque from where Abu Bakr al-Baghdadi announced his caliphate. There is no clarity whether he's been killed or is still alive. West Mosul, though, lies in ruins. There's nothing left here. The moment you get here, the smell of rotting bodies catches up. There's only destruction as far as your eye can see. There are no human beings.
An estimated 40,000 people have been killed in Mosul. Many more are still unaccounted for. Our heart sinks to think of the fate of 39 Indians abducted by the ISIS in mid-2014. In Erbil, near Mosul, we meet members of the tiny Indian community. Tirupati belongs to Hyderabad and works at a popular restaurant here. He is worried about the fellow Indians gone missing.
It's very sad to they're stuck there. I don't know about them, where they are. Very, very sad, very, very sad. So we want to know where they are, they are safe or they are in any trouble or like that.
Around 6,000 Indians live in Erbil. At the beginning of the conflict, 22,000 lived in Iraq. Most came here for work. Where did 39 of them disappear? We probe different agencies.
This is the office of the Red Crescent in Erbil, and we're about to go inside to find out if they have any information about the 39 Indians who were abducted in 2014. Remember, India's External Affairs Minister Sushma Swaraj continues to give hope to the families of these abducted Indians, and the Ministry of External Affairs did say that it was originally Red Crescent that gave them the information that the Indians are alive. So what's the status? Do they know anything? Have they been talking to the Indian government? Let's find out. Indian government said that Red Crescent has told them.
Havre Ehsan Sadiq has been the manager of Red Crescent's Erbil branch since September 2014. If there is any information that needs to be shared about civilians, it would go through him.
You're in charge of Red Crescent in Mosul, right?
Yeah.
If there is any information that any of your volunteers or workers find or in Mosul about Indians, will that come to you?
But 3 years, ISIS to controlled in the Mosul, and I didn't any information with the any people inside Mosul.
Erbil's main humanitarian agency is clueless, but our search continues. We now head to the heart of the conflict, in West Mosul. The entire area looks like a war zone. We move through endless lines of destroyed, deserted homes. That's the final mile. We are nervous, yet hopeful. Soon, we are joined by a local team. They led us to a path laden with mines. We walk, watching our steps carefully. What we discover is stunning. There's no sign of any prison anymore, let alone any person. We look at the rubble, shattered.
This is Badush prison. This is where, according to the intelligence India's External Affairs Minister has received, the 39 abducted Indians could possibly be. But that information is clearly absolutely incorrect, because this building, we're being told, was destroyed by ISIS itself years ago, and this area was liberated a few months ago, in fact, by the counter-terrorism unit of Iraq. What's left are just remnants of what was once a prison where ISIS had come to get some of their Islamist brothers released from, and it is at that time that they also ended up occupying the city of Mosul. The question hence continues to be, where are the 39 Indians? It is important to have hope, but looking at this, I have to say, this is not what I expected to find. We faced many problems while coming here, and one was hoping that perhaps there'd be some good news that one could return home with. In Badush, on the outskirts of Mosul, in Iraq, Aanchal Vora.
Breaking reportage from Mosul, Iraq. Certain questions need to be asked. Truth was on your television screens. The question is the government hiding anything? Where abject despair coming in for the kin of the missing who've been waiting for their loved ones. Has the government actually done enough over the couple of months that we've seen, other than just plain lip service? And will finally political parties and our netas unite to get our 39 missing Indians back home? All right, joining me on the burning question today morning is Sardar R.P. Singh, National Secretary, BJP. We have Mr. Rajiv Dogra, former diplomat. We also have Priyanka Chaturvedi, spokesperson of the Congress. Before we go to the political debate in it, Mr. Dogra, I want to come to you. You know, we've had our correspondent who's gone to Mosul, and the truth lies bare. Repeatedly, we'd seen, you know, Mr. V.K. Singh, General V.K. Singh say it. We'd seen Sushma Swaraj, the External Affairs Ministry, you know, they've been saying the same exact lines that about the Badush prison. And with what our correspondent found out, the prison doesn't even quite exist.
Well, first, it's very brave of Aanchal Vora to have gone to an area which is absolutely a disaster of the worst kind and very dangerous area. And it was unfortunate that at the end of her quest, she found that there was no prison at all there, or it had been destroyed, as has been reported in the international media from 2014 onwards, that ISIS went there, took away the prisoners they wanted, the ISIS people, and then marched 600 other prisoners who were non-Sunnis out of the prison and killed them in cold blood. Whether 39 Indians were part of that or not is a different issue. But let me start by taking a very objective view, that it is difficult for any government to come to a negative conclusion without any solid basis. It was the same thing which happened to our POWs in Pakistan after 65 war and 71 war. We knew they were there, and we knew they were being tortured to death, which eventually they were, most of them, but we could not say that they were dead. So the same syndrome seems to apply to government's efforts at this time. But having said that, let's look at the other side also. There were 39 Indians who remained in Iraq according to government figures, but there was one who escaped, and he also had a bullet injury in his leg. He apparently has come back to India, as India Today also has
yes, we've interviewed him.
Days back. Why has the government not put... Why? No, I know, you have interviewed him. Why has government not taken his word for any substantive truth? Or if government disbelieves him, why doesn't it say that the bullet injury is fake and whatever he is saying is also fake? So there are many doubts which government's half-hearted attempts are sort of being raised in the minds of people at large. So I think there is some communication gap, despite all sincere efforts by the government. But at the same time, there is a limit to how long this sort of dilemma on a very delicate issue should be allowed to linger.
All right, Sardar R.P. Singh, we don't want to conjecture on, the whereabouts of the 39 Indians, but Mr. Dogra laid out a rather grim scenario, which sadly was also echoed by the survivor who escaped and who is in India right now. Leads to many questions where the government is concerned. Is the government till now just paying lip service and avoiding the main question here completely?
Well, I differ from what you are saying, because this very government has helped 80,000 people who were stranded abroad in various countries. I mean, you can't forget Yemen, and even yesterday I was reading there's some stuck in Riyadh, and they have sent a message to Sushma ji, and Sushma ji said a message will reach out to you by tomorrow. So that's the track record of the government. And as far going by Mr. Harjeet Massi's witness, the person who has come back, he talks about that killing happened on 15 June. Whereas there's a woman named Gurpreet Kaur, who's the sister of Maninder Singh, who says that 17 June I got a call from my brother. He said all of us are alive and we will come back. So whom to believe? I mean, do we go by Mr. Massi's report or what he is saying? And Mr. Massi has a background. Mr. Massi was one of the agents who used to help take people there in the conflict zone. So either we go by Mr. Massi's statement, or we go by Gurpreet Kaur's statement, which was 2 days after when he says everyone was killed. Thirdly, do you want? I mean, we appreciate Anchal Zora report, but can we quash people's hope on a report which might be true, but still there's a hope? I mean, how can you? But what Sushma ji said.
Sardar R.P. Singh, we are nowhere down the line. If you have seen, sir.
I heard you.
No, sir. I just want to, I want to just come in and I want to tell you, nowhere are we saying anything. We're not even. We're not talking.
Give me a second. Give me a second. Don't. Give me.
Complete.
Give me a second. Sorry. So what Sushma ji said? What Sushma ji said? She said, after there is peace in Mosul, we'll go and check. And our defense, our minister went there. Mr. V.K. Singh went there to check. He was there in Ibris. And then there is still no sure report. I mean,
but Sardar R.P. Singh, you've made your point. You've made your point. Nowhere are we saying, Sardar R.P. Singh, there is nowhere that we don't want to resort to conjecture. Even if you heard our report, we said that we hope that there is hope right now, but with what the government has been telling us all along from both quarters, from General V.K. Singh, from Ms. Sushma Swaraj, we have heard only one one explanation that the 39 Indians in all probability are lodged in that particular jail, which India Today correspondent Aanchal Vora found was razed to the ground. Now, there is no denying that. Let me bring in Priyanka Chaturvedi. The Congress today would be raising the privilege motion in Parliament. Priyanka, Congress believing that the government of the day has not quite done enough in this regard.
No, not just done enough, but has also been resorting to misleading news stories with regards to this particular event. Now, I would firstly like to congratulate India Today Group, especially Aanchal Vora, for making that trip and finding out the truth behind the jail that Ms. Sushma Swaraj had been claiming that these 39 Indians are being held in. What I find surprising is when you send General V.K. Singh, who is the Minister of State for External Affairs, to Mosul, and you still find you have access to find out what happened to the jail. Unfortunately, we did not see any such report coming from the ministry. We have had Ms. Sushma Swaraj come forward and claim that she knows that for a fact that they are alive. So no one's reaching to conjectures, no one is reaching to conclusions here. But I think truth needs to be known and a sincere commitment needs to be shown. You cannot keep misleading and put up a pretense of false bravado when unfortunately, whether it is Mr. Masih who came out and said what he did, what he believes, as well as the report that is coming from the India Today group. So all goes to show that somewhere the communication has been weak and the entire attempt to create this entire scenario that they are in control seems to be now out in the open, that they do not know what really is happening there.
India Today's path-breaking, agenda-setting reportage from Mosul has resonated in the highest corridors of power, not just Parliament. Our mission Iraq has now jolted the government into action as well on the back foot with her claims proven wrong. Now External Affairs Minister Sushma Swaraj is all set to meet Iraq Foreign Minister Al-Jafari. Sushma is expected to ask the minister of the whereabouts of the missing 39 Indians and what steps can be taken to trace them and bring them back home. Remember, the government is now in a spot after India Today travelled to Iraq and in search of the missing Indians and found no prison where Sushma Swaraj claimed the missing Indians were lodged. I want to go across to Rajiv Dogra, who's with us on that. Mr. Dogra, let's just see the kind of statements that have come from General V.K. Singh from Ms. Sushma Swaraj. Today, of course, at this back of this reportage, we have the External Affairs Minister who will be, meeting her Iraqi counterpart. But, one understands that there's a certain sense of protocol that government has to follow. There are channels of diplomacy and we have to take for face value what, say, the Iraqi government would have told us. As a journalist, your canvas is very different. But having said all of that, Mr. Dogra, do you reckon that somewhere down the line the government had slacked off?
Well, let's look at the situation objectively. The fact is that ISIS follows no rule of normal international behavior, and Mosul was under ISIS's control, where communication was next to nothing unless ISIS wanted it. So it was a very difficult situation, and Iraqi government could have only a minimal reach inside Mosul. Yet, I also recall from my own experience, having handled the first Iraq war in early 90s, when we evacuated close to 170,000 Indians who were stuck in Iraq and Kuwait also. There were ways we could find help from very helpful Iraqis, and there were ways we could find information from within the war zone. So it is not as if all information could have dried up. After all, Aanchal just interviewed the Red Crescent man who was there all along from September 2014 onwards. So obviously he had sources, and many others like him who were living in Mosul could have had information about the prisoners, or if the jail was destroyed, where were they taken. After all, international media has reported on 600 odd people who were killed because they were non-Sunnis, Christians, Yazidis and so on. So if there is no information on 39 Indians, it raises more questions than provides any answers.
And maybe those questions should have been asked earlier on. Mr. R.P. Singh.
Well, I was hearing you that probably you are trying to push a point that Mrs. Sushma Swaraj is meeting the Iraqi counterpart. He is already on a visit from 24th for 3 days. I mean, it's not because of the this issue, but he's there. He's going to be here first time after the.
But Sardar RP Singh, you don't think that she should be meeting him for this issue? All right, okay, fine. You're saying we shouldn't claim the fact that it's coming at the back of our report, but it should come at the back of our report, sir.
Give me.
Yes.
Yes, back of your report the question will be raised. Back of your report question will be raised. But also back of your report we can't quash the hopes, because as I said earlier,
who is saying
we can't go by Mr. Masih's point and or his. No, because my friend from Congress was saying that they're not going by Mr. Masih's point. But issue is that he was the agent, and he will say what save his neck.
But Mr. RP Singh, the India Today is an independent free media, sir.
All of us are short.
All right, Sardar RP Singh, you don't want to take his word, but India Today is independent free media.
I'm not denying you. I'm denying your right. I'm not.
Yes.
I'm not denying your report. I'm not denying your ground report. But I'm saying, please go and interview Gurpreet Kaur also. What she has to say. But not go by Mr. Masih, Mr. Harjit Masih, who was the agent.
But
go by a survivor sister also.
Okay.
And give me a minute. And if I hear report, people are the family members and relatives are prepared to accept what you are saying. Let them accept, but we will not let it be till the time we have confirmed.
No, but what are we saying? Sardar RP Singh, a grave scenario. No, one second. We want to make one thing very clear. Sardar RP Singh, a grave scenario was laid down by Mr. Rajiv Dogra. We are not saying, confirming to anything. We are not reaching to any conclusion. We're not even going to indulge in conjecture. We are just putting what we reported. There was one statement given out consistently by the External Affairs Ministry on the whereabouts of the 39 missing Indians, which led to the Badush jail. We are just putting out our reportage there saying that the Badush jail doesn't exist. Yes, Priyanka Chaturvedi, come in.
So, no, I find this extremely disturbing coming from the BJP spokesperson, where he says, okay, let's say we do not want to believe what Harjit Masih has to say. But here's the point. There are 39 Indians who are missing, and we have the External Affairs Minister who has gone on the floor of the House and denied that they are dead. She has denied that she says she has information. She says her information sources have dried up. I find this extremely hard to believe that they're going on weaving stories while denying the families of those 39 who are missing the true sequence of events. Now, I would want to understand from the BJP spokesperson here, when an independent news agency can go and cover the situation in Iraq, why is it so difficult for our government to give the true details of what they know and what they don't have in hand, or what information they don't have, rather than resorting to a whole set of lies? We must remember one thing, that Ms. Sushma Swaraj, as much as she is appreciated for all the work that she has undertaken as far as rescue operations are concerned, or ensuring people who do not have passports are concerned, their missing passports are concerned, she also needs to be made accountable for the lies that she has been coming up with regards to the 39 who are missing.
Okay.
And I'm sorry I call them lies simply because she has made a statement on the floor of the House. She said that as recently as last week, when she met the media, met the family of the 39 who are missing, while your report totally denies whatever she has stated.
All right. Okay, RP Singh, quickly come in.
Priyanka Chaturvedi can fabricate whatever she wants to fabricate, but I'll appreciate, play that again, and Sushma ji and Accord has said that this is a report from with us. I mean, she's not claiming that it's her sources, but she has to rely on the report of the NSA of Iraq. And if he says yes, so she has to believe it. And I'm again saying, please don't quash hopes till the time we have a confirmed report.
No. Well, once again, let me quickly introduce our panel on this debate. Sardar RP Singh joining us as the National Secretary BJP, Rajiv Dogra, former diplomat, Priyanka Chaturvedi, spokesperson of the Congress. Sardar RP Singh, you did hear what the External Affairs Minister said just a few days ago. Now, very clearly she says that highly placed sources have confirmed that the 39 missing Indians are lodged at the Badush jail.
And then she further said the moment the war in Badoosh is over, we'll come to know the fact. Where is she wrong? She is stating what she has said,
RP Singh, do you know
on that she is not confirming. She said we'll come to know the status only after the.
As per ground reports, as per what India Today journalists found out, the Badoosh jail was razed to the grounds months ago, sir.
So could have been, but how could you? I mean, your reporter could reach there, good enough, but we can't reach there. I mean, that's a different point. I mean, it's not necessary that a government official in a war conflict zone can go, a reporter can go. That's the advantage of media. So that's the advantage you have. But I'm again
I agree.
Your report, we are not going to question till the time we get a confirmed report.
No, 1 second, I agree.
Stop the government from taking that advantage that reporters have and the government does not have. I'm sorry, do not weave another set of lies just to get out of the situation you all have created for yourself. I'm sorry, what stopped you all from seeking this advantage that reporters have over the government officials? Do not come up with stories. Do not please weave any further stories. I think truth is what is needed right now, not your whole set of lies. Not the PR exercise that we have been seeing ever since 39 Indians have been found missing in Iraq. I'm sorry to say this turns out to be another set of PR exercises where they're dodging responsibility.
1 second, can we go one at a time, please?
They have been weaving around the 39 Indians who have been missing.
All right, Priyanka, RP Singh, yes, you can have your say now.
We are not dodging any situation. We are working hard. Our government is working hard. It's the same Foreign Minister, Mr. V.K. Singh, who has gone and institute people from Yemen, not Indians, also people from other foreign nationals also. So it's not we are trying to dodge. It's only that we are waiting for a proper response from Iraqi authorities. Once we get a proper response, then we'll react on it.
Okay. Priyanka, I'm going to come to you, but let me also bring in Rajiv Dogra and all of this. Mr. Dogra, you know, there's a point which has been made by Sardar RP Singh, and it's a relevant point at that okay, there are certain, you know, government functions through channels of diplomacy. You have to take for face value what your counterpart tells you. The access to, say, a General V.K. Singh is not going to be as much as, say, a journalist like Aanchal Vora. But put this in perspective for us, Rajiv Dogra. Do you think the government could have done a lot more, or somewhere down the line it just did not follow up?
Well, I don't want to comment on a personal issue, whether General V.K. Singh could have gone there or not. But I'll only tell you something from my own experience. I had gone to Kuwait immediately after the first Iraq war, or Gulf War as it is called, when there were reports that our embassy had been mined. So if I could go there as a senior diplomat, I'm sure our young diplomats can also go to Mosul, where Aanchal has gone very bravely. In Kabul and in other areas like Jalalabad and so on, where we have consulates, there in many parts there's a war-like situation. But our embassies function, our consulates function, our diplomats function. There are many other parts of the world where there are wars going on. Our embassies are not closed and sent back to India. So it is not as if our diplomats are risk averse or our officials are risk averse. If needed, they can go to Mosul and check facts on the ground.
And that's
so that is point number one.
Right.
Second, if Mrs. Sushma Swaraj's statement, the central point was the existence of prison, then I'm afraid we are in a very disturbing situation where it seems that no prison exists any longer.
Yes, Rajiv Dogra. You know, RP Singh, Mr. Dogra has made it very clear. The job for even a junior diplomat is quite laid out. If the government wanted. And he's given you a scenario there. He's served, Rajiv Dogra has given you that example of Kuwait, where he himself, who was serving at that point of time, had gone to check. This could have happened, RP Singh. Somebody, maybe not General V.K. Singh, somebody lower down the order could have done that. Basic information of a jail not even existing could have been procured, RP Singh.
Well, there's a difference with what Mr. Dogra is saying. I mean, there's war, conflict between two nations, and a conflict of caliphate, which is happening. And there is no government. When you can reach out to a place where there's still some semblance of government. Here, There's no government. I mean, it's all something like people who have captured that piece of land from Iraq and then Syria and running their wreck.
RP Singh, can I ask you one question, sir?
How do you approach them?
Okay.
How do you reach out to them?
All right. So basically, when the ISIS was there was absolutely no. It's a different. Okay, I take your point. All right, RP Singh, give me a minute. I take your point that it is a completely different scenario that we are dealing with while the ISIS had control of the Mosul. What happened when it didn't have control over Mosul? You had Aanchal Vora who actually went there. This could have been done by your diplomats, sir.
That's what I'm saying. So did General VK Singh.
And what did he come up with?
And he was in Ibris.
You're tying yourself in knots. Let me bring in Priyanka Chaturvedi. Quickly, Priyanka, come in.
You know, there are just 2 points I need to make here. Considering Sardar RP Singh makes it out to be an extraordinary situation, yes, there could perhaps be new rules that, as per Mr. Dogra, that he has given his own example, there could be a new whole set of rules. So if there is an extraordinary situation that exists, you have to take extraordinary measures to ensure that your 39 Indians are found. So if you say that journalists have more access, you could have very well used the help of the journalists to find out what is really happening, rather than coming forward and making this claim about the jail existing, 39 Indians being lodged in that jail, while your report clearly demolishes that argument.
Okay, that's all the time we have
that
for.
The jail has not existed for past so many months.
Okay.
So these excuses that
RP Singh, very quickly. Okay, one final word. Quickly, RP Singh. Yes. Yes, RP Singh, go ahead.
Accountable for that.
Small rebuttal.
Yes, very quickly.
When did the war on Mosul ended? Let's go by when did the war on Mosul ended? Just a month back, not before that.
Okay.
No one could enter Mosul before
all right,
that. It's just recently the war ended.
All right, okay, no, we can't get into. All right, okay.
Our external minister was there. Both were there.
All right, well, that's all the time we have for. I appreciate our panel for joining us.